Hello, so this short documentary will be based on the consequences of antibiotic abuse to raise awareness regarding the overuse and misuse of antibiotic that allowed harmful bacteria such as superbugs to fight back antibiotic, triggering overwhelming consequences to our well-being such as life-threatening skin conditions, cellulitis. The most powerful way we can fight back antibiotic abuse is through proper use of the drugs. Proper use equals reduction of bacteria-resistant gene. So this documentary will be mainly focused on five areas regarding the topic, which are: how can non-resistant bacteria acquire resistance, what triggers the antibiotic resistance, consequences of the bacterial resistance, how can you prevent antibiotic-resistant bacteria from spreading, and a brief history of antibiotic. Antibiotic is a natural compound that either terminate or reduce the growth of harmful bacteria. Different drugs work differently. Antibiotics such as penicillin works by destroying bacterial cell wall, killing the bacteria and preventing further outgrowth. Scientist Alexander Fleming discovered the first antibiotic called penicillin notatum in 1928. He detected a blue-green fungus that produced a substance in which killed his culture plate of gram-positive bacteria, called viral staphylococcus. Australian Howard Florey and Ernest Chain were the scientists that tested these findings with controlled and uncontrolled penicillin experiments, using mice that were injected with virulent hemolytic Streptococcus bacteria. Mice in the control group died, whereas penicillin-treated group survived. Since then, penicillin revolutionized the field of medicine. It was extensively used in hospitals and World War II to treat wounds. It was a magic bullet, a primarily alternative for curing infections and diseases triggered by harmful bacteria. Today, things have changed a lot. We use more than 150 types of antibiotic, yet antibiotic is not as effective as it was with fighting various types of bacteria, because now many bacteria carries antibiotic resistant genes. So how can non-resistant bacteria acquire resistance? There are three common ways in which bacteria can resist antibiotic, which are natural genetic variations in population, gene mutation, and lateral gene transfer. This image demonstrates how natural selection works. Step 1 is a big population of non-resistant bacteria. In Step 2, antibiotics kills the defenseless bacteria. The few antibiotic-resistant bacteria that provide bacteria an antibiotic protein-like shield survives. In Step 3 and 4, due to the survival rate, natural selection of bacteria with the resistant gene rapidly increases, as the killing of the non-resistant harmful and beneficial bacteria triggered by antibiotic allows the resistant bacteria to grow and reproduce, becoming the primarily harmful bacteria. In this image, we have change of gene sequences that occurs through three mechanisms, which are genes that code for protein pumps that oppose the entry of antibiotic by pumping it out of the cell, giving no chance for antibiotic to serve its purpose. Also, gene-resistant encodes enzyme that either inactivate the antibiotic through chemical alteration or terminate the drugs targeted at bacterial cell. Lateral gene transfer. Bacteria that obtains a resistant gene can pass the strains to other bacteria by bacteria mating via pilus, a hair-like appendage that pulls the recipient closer to the receptor surface to transfer copies of genes into the recipient. Lateral gene transfer can also happen by transformation, in which the bacteria consume the dead resistant bacterium and ends up obtaining its antibiotic-resistant gene traits. Transformation also occurs when a virus passes a resistant gene to bacteria after antibiotic-resistant bacteria deadly encounter with the virus. What triggers the antibiotic resistance? People's immense use of antibiotic and failing to complete the treatment leads to the increase of antibiotic-resistant bacteria. During the 1950s, anybody had access to antibiotic, like penicillin, without any medical prescription. It has changed ever since the causes of bacteria resistance were discovered. Despite that, today 50% to 60% antibiotic prescriptions are invalid for the patient diagnosis or unnecessary recommendation of antibiotic to patients diagnosed with disease in which is immune to antibiotic or can be cured without the use of antibiotic. Since 1950, there has been widespread usage of antibiotic in hospitals, agriculture, and wide range of products including household products such as soaps, shampoo, which contributes to the increase of antibiotic bacterial resistance. There is an excessive use of antibiotic in livestock, especially in fast food stores, for example KFC, where the meat comes from farm animals treated with antibiotic for weight gain, which also encourages the increase of antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Consequences of bacterial resistance. The overuse of antibiotic introduces powerful bacteria known as superbugs, a bacteria that have genetic resistance to vast majority of antibiotic. Unfortunately, some does not respond to any antibiotic. Staphylococcus aureus is an example of superbug that is capable to pass its genes to other bacteria, ultimately evolving into superbugs. Its immunity to drugs is high and has overwhelmingly 10% to 30% chance of patient's death. The Muppet creator Jim Henson had a sore throat caused by Streptococcus bacteria, unfortunately passed away from organ failure because of the toxic shock syndrome triggered by Streptococcus bacteria strains. Streptococcus bacteria can cause highly contagious strep throat and life-threatening skin infections such as cellulitis, which occurs when the superbug inserts through a cut or a crack in the skin, commonly found among people at work placements such as hospitals and nursing homes. Cutting down the overuse of antibiotic will help us be safe by preventing the escalation of superbugs in high-tolerant and least vulnerable environments. 80% of antibiotic is used in livestock. Antibiotic is provided for animals to enhance weight gain and growth with less food. Most of the bacteria in animals treated with antibiotic are killed. Superbugs are an exception, which encourages further reproduction and transition to other animals through interactions. In many cases, can lead to life-threatening health issues if left untreated. Humans are also in danger. People who work at slaughterhouse are likely to carry the superbugs if there is a chance of cuts or crack on the skin to get through. These infected meats are then sold to supermarkets. By consuming the contaminated meat, we have colonized our body with superbugs. Even though cooking the meat can help kill the bacteria, some survive which are enough to make you severely ill. Here are some recommendations provided by TriHealth regarding how you can protect yourself from antibiotic resistance.
There are several ways that you can help prevent the spread of bacterial resistance. First of all, is to have a conversation with your doctor or healthcare provider about whether or not an antibiotic is appropriate for what ails you. Not every ailment needs an antibiotic. Most of these are actually caused by viruses. And speak with them about the symptoms that you're having and things that you can do to help alleviate these symptoms. Number 2 is to take the antibiotic as prescribed. Take it for the full course and don't skip doses. 3 is don't save antibiotics that you haven't used. If there are any antibiotics that are left over, you should throw those away. Number 4, don't take an antibiotic from someone else. That antibiotic might not treat what really ails you, and it might just lead to a prolonged course. And it also might not treat the bacteria that is infecting you, which could lead to more multiplying and your illness getting worse. 5th and finally, if you do have a discussion with your doctor or healthcare provider, and he deems that your problem isn't caused by bacteria, it's important to have a discussion about ways to treat your symptoms, and don't pressure the doctor to give you an antibiotic. Now, if you do have
Antibiotics have revolutionized the field of medicine. It has saved millions of lives all around the world. But the misuse and overuse has impacted their effectiveness due to pathogens inheriting transferring bacterial gene resistance from one another. This led to the evolution of superbugs, a multi-drug resistant bacteria that triggers life-threatening infections and diseases, if not detected and treated early. Taking antibiotic as prescribed and avoiding unnecessary antibiotic treatment are among many ways you can prevent the antibiotic bacterial resistance that has potential to evolve into the life-threatening superbug. In the last few years, there has been many reports of medical breakthroughs. One of them is at the University of Melbourne, Sydney, which reports that devolved protein molecule called peptide polymers could kill superbugs by cracking and ultimately destroying the cell walls. Once it was put to clinical trials, the superbugs showed no sign of resistance to the protein molecule.